So, I didn't particularly want to talk about this again, but it came up again, so why not? I thought I'd talk about something different, like Ebola or anything else. But both Sam Pepper and Lacigreen have posted videos about. Sam Pepper posted a video basically saying that his fake hand-ass pinch prank video was scripted and staged beforehand, which may have been possible, And then Lacigreen flat out says that this is, yes, she does say in her video, I've watched it twice, okay? She does say in her video that this is his attempt at covering his own ass. So, those are the two sides of this. Either you can believe him and think that, assuming you've already watched both those videos, you could believe him and think that whatever he did was some kind of social experiment, okay? Or you could believe he's trying to cover his ass, I guess, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. So, just take that in mind. I'm not trying to go one way or another on this. But yeah, let's talk. But something I don't really like about Lacigreen is usually when she talks about sexual assault and rape, she usually just talks about it from a woman's perspective, which I suppose makes sense since she is a woman. But she usually doesn't talk from personal experience. I know some of her videos she's talked about maybe experiences dealing with creepy guys or catcalling or something, or even I think one video she said she had a dude who wanted to be in a relationship with her but she didn't want to, so he kind of went crazy and stalked her a little bit. But she usually only talks about sexual assault and rape from like a woman's perspective, almost as if she's trying to make it a woman's issue, and not acknowledging the fact that this does affect men as well. It does, maybe not as much, but does quantity really matter? If let's say every year 1 million women got raped, 1 million women, but only 10,000 men got raped, all right? Would it really matter, the number? Rape's still a horrible thing. Numbers shouldn't matter in this at all. Alright, that's a horrible excuse to say, well, it doesn't happen as often for men, so it's not as bad. That's a shitty fucking excuse, alright? That's a horrible excuse. So to say that it doesn't, happen to men as often doesn't make it as bad, that's just stupid to say. That's ignorant. But I think when it comes to sexual assault and rape, you just can't look at this from one angle. Alright, you gotta look at it all across the board. Alright, you have to recognize how it affects everyone, and understand that it does affect everyone differently. And maybe understand the circumstances behind this. Like what circumstances does a woman get raped under? Under what circumstances might a man get raped under? So obviously we're very different, so obviously I would imagine the circumstances we get raped under are very different, alright? Because usually women are smaller and weaker, usually on average. So of course, cases where they get raped, it might just be as simple as them getting overpowered. Maybe not. Maybe they just got drunk or something, I'm not trying to say it's their fault. It's no one's fault, But I think, where am I going with this? But, I think when it comes to preventing these things, I think most people, most of the time, understand that you shouldn't rape people, again, or sexually assault them. But I think when people do it, it's to some degree because they don't care. Now, what is it do they not care about? Is it the law, or is it the people they're doing it to? Well, usually people don't like to go to jail, It's not usually it's not a thing. So I'm thinking they care about the law. You know, they don't want to get caught and go to jail. No one does. Why? So obviously they do care about the law, just enough to try to do it in a way where they can get away with it. But they obviously do not care about the people that are doing it too. You know? They just don't care that maybe this is hurting them. So in that case, it's kind of a selfish act. You know, to pleasure yourself by forcing yourself upon to another person. Kind of selfish. I don't think anyone's ever really thought about that before, that how rape and assault can be quite selfish. And then you wonder, well, if they don't care, maybe they just lack empathy. Maybe they're sociopaths. Maybe they're psychopaths. Maybe they weren't taught to be as loving and as understanding as maybe they should have been. You know, maybe they weren't taught empathy, to care. You know, even if you've never been raped or sexually assaulted before, then even if it hasn't happened to you, I think you should still be able to have the idea in your head that this is a horrible thing to happen to someone, or at least it can really suck, and it can have some pretty bad repercussions to that person. But obviously someone who would sexually assault or rape someone doesn't have that. You know, they might not care as much. And it's not an excuse or a reason, but, well, it is a reason, not an excuse, though. So, in other words, maybe in trying to prevent things like rape and sexual assault, something we could do is maybe teach empathy. Teach people to give a shit and love each other. Doesn't that sound familiar? You know, a guy named Jesus. I'm not religious or anything, but actually a lot of people throughout history have told us to just love one another, be nice and decent, you know. I think we should listen to those guys a lot more. But, okay, I'm rambling. Let's see. What are the major things I want you to take away from this video? Sexual assault and rape. Not a simple issue, kind of a complex issue. Doesn't matter how many times. Doesn't matter if it happens to women more than men. It obviously, does this quantity matter? No. And obviously the people who do these things, they don't care about the law. Well, they do. They don't want to go to jail. They just don't care about the people they're doing it to. They don't care if they're hurting someone. So I think we have to address that. Teach people to care